Shouts out BigSteve.
Oh, forgot to add myself. What up? Welcome to another episode of Big Brain. Back again. Feels like an eternity whenever I take a break. Didn't feel like doing PFL last week. Not a fan. I know it was a big card, but just a bunch of fighters that I don't like. You know, Bubba Jenkins versus Ward for the 7th time. But yeah, we're back. We've got a special guest, first-time guest that's never been on the show. I'll just quickly do my review and then we'll get on with it, shall we? So, UFC card. Started off the card with 4 bets in a row, 3 sweaty ones. So, Rafael Esteban at Pick'em. I thought that should be a bigger bet because he had potential to dominate. And he did dominate for 2 rounds. And then, you know, the cardio of Johnson and you know, the weight miss is what made me sweat. So, yeah, went according to plan. 29-28. I didn't think Johnson had the power to KO him if it did come to that. I did sweat it though. So I had like 1,000 to win 900, just a bit over half unit. I had Nicholas Mota next. I was regretting that bet all week, and he showed me why. Yeah, amazing, good variance on that one. I just cracked up when they said no contest. Couldn't believe it. But I'll take it. I've had a lot of bad variance recently. I think it was just leading up to that. Even still in round 2, Mota cracked him a couple of times, and it looked like he was going to be the first person to KO Ogden, but he just couldn't land anything for 15 minutes. And all Ogden needed was a jab just to shut him down. So I think quite obviously Mota is extremely overrated. He just pretty much has nothing other than power. Then I had Arlene Perez at Pick'em, $1.80. You know, I bet it early, closed at -200. That was also Sweat City. I mean, she goes to the hospital. She has a period. She recuts weight. And I know she's a bit of a silly girl. Like, I didn't think she was smart enough to conserve her cardio, and she didn't. She just died in round 3 and almost got finished. So that was a sweat with the rear naked choke. But yeah, 2 out of 3. I can't complain. I thought there was potential for me to get absolutely rinsed on those 3 bets. I put a little bit on Jekka Sergey to win 500 and something. Wish I went bigger, but don't we all? Passed on Mick Parkin and over 1.5. That was plus money. Had a little bit of poke Duncan submission. Passed on his inside the distance, was much better the night before. Had a unit on Jose Johnson to win 770. I think he covered, you know, even at -200, just dominated 30-27 and then got a finish. Passed on Brito sub. Urosh Medic, I had one. I really wanted to play 1 takedown oral buy. He was almost Pick'em, crazy line. Instead, I played Rebus 1 takedown at Juice and lost $800. So that was pretty much it. Passed on some Talbot round 2 and 3. Passed on Morales. I didn't have a parlay piece. So 2,000 something, left a bit of money on the table. It is what it is. And then just hit some easy money unders on Cage Warriors last week and Ferreira over Goldsov at +200 was my favorite money line. So yeah, got out with 53,000 for the month. I don't know how much I got. 6 units for the month, just a bit under previous month, which was my best month of the year. So it's going well. Discord's going well. Jump in. I'll up the price again one day, so jump in while you can. Speaking of Discord, my boy Lou Betcher, he's in there. It's almost like he isn't, but he's in there. How are you, mate? Thanks for coming on for the first time.
Thanks, man. I hang out in the soccer section of the MMA Discord, and the Eileen Perez fade is coming. It's coming.
You lurk in the soccer. I pretty much have to go on Twitter, DM you, and say, please, can you contribute something to the soccer Discord? And then you type something, and then those bets end up losing, and it's just, you know, back to square one next week again.
That's why I don't contribute, but thanks for having me on. I like this card. I don't know how much I love it from a betting perspective yet, but I definitely have some plays that I think, some props that I'm going to wait for that I like. So, yeah.
All right, we got Pepe.
Yeah, I am the mug shorties. Yeah, my first pot as a super old man too, so we'll see how I do.
Nice. Speaking of Pepe, I started listening to his podcast and then had to turn it off. I was hoping there'd be one of those ones where Just Win Baby couldn't make it and it was a solo, but it wasn't. So I was like, no, I just thought I'd check. All right, shall we get into it, mate?
Yeah, man.
I know you got places to be. You have some
I have no
green tea to drink and stuff like that. All right. So first fight, Jamey-Lyn Horth, Veronica Hardy. So this fight is the reason I brought you on the show. So I'll let you start it off. Lou.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So, first thing I got to say is you get Hardy going from plus 350 range to pick 'em range. The money did come in on Horth this morning. Now looks like she's 130, 140 range. On the Hardy side, look, man, we don't really have any data points. Like, I mean, she's had one fight in 3.5 years. She fought somebody who is on the worst season of The Ultimate Fighter ever, with no business being in the UFC, and Juliana Miller. Everything she wanted to do, she did. She out-physicaled her. She threw her down. Dominant. I don't think she can do that to Horth. I'd like to think that maybe she leveled up by being away, but you really don't know. I mean, again, she fought a bum, and that was at 135. So, or that was at 125. I'm sorry. They both Horth fought 135 last time. And then on the side, I mean, she looks strong. I don't think she's in one regard like amazing, but she's strong. She's tough. I like her kicks. I like her clinch work. She looked really strong against Cohen, who came in heavy. She definitely looked like a stronger person. Her cardio is good. I'm going to lean Horth. I don't have a bet yet. And now that the money's coming out on Horth and it's getting to like that minus 130, 140 range, I'll probably just pass. But we'll see how the line moves as the week goes on.
Yeah, can't disagree. When she was a favorite, I thought I would tape Hardy and like her as a dog. I always thought she had the tools. Obviously, just the cardio and the IQ. Being just a bit young and green and doing stupid crap and just gassing out was always the issue. She clearly fixed that in the last one. 28. She was a bit more. She looked in better shape too. She looked ripped at a flyweight. And but yeah, taping it. I obviously taped it when he went to pick him, and I thought I'd rather play Horth now. I played her at pick him against Cohen, but yeah, I think Hardy's better than Cohen personally. She's got the tools. Horth is just a little bit lumbering and unathletic. I think she's going to walk into a lot of things early, so I just opted to live bet it. Horth always has a good round 3, like a bunch of round 3 finishes, and her level of competition is good on the regionals. La Fontaine and the other chick in LFA that she finished in round 3. I think they're better than Cohen personally, and we haven't seen any adversity on Hardy's side. Maybe the cardio and mistakes are there too when she actually tires out or ends up on the bottom or something. Obviously, Miller is just not the girl to bring that out of her. So yeah, I was very tempted at Pick'em, but I thought maybe Pick'em is accurate, right? I think Hardy has an advantage early with the speed. And then maybe Horth works her way into the fight, gets a couple of takedowns, and then, it evens out. And then round 3, it's up for the taking, and Horth probably takes it. Wouldn't mind some Horth sub, maybe Horth round 3. But yeah, I think it's better that she's at her natural weight class. She's also at a super bummy gym in Canada. Like, there's just no one there. Her and Malcolm Gordon, and that's it. But I hear she's training with Loopy. Yeah, I'll look to live bet it. Hope for some early good stuff from Hardy, and then go from there. What do we got, Mr. Far Q2? This line is a gift. Horth win, easy decision with finish upside. Yeah. Look, I'm not overly confident, but yeah, if gun to my head, I would play Horth.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare her to Natalia Silva, but we've seen what happens when like people that are relatively young go away for 3 years, and then we just don't know.
Yeah.
Is it an aberration? Is his first fight back just an aberration, or did they really level up? So I'm willing to pass to find out.
I mean, she's clearly leveled up. You can't go from 25 to 28 and not level up, Yeah. But she's always had that footwork. I remember I don't know why I didn't play. I hate myself for not playing her against Miller. But I remember I taped the Lee fight, and man, she was doing great against Angela Lee until she gassed, and then she just got top timed. I was like, man, this girl is so good. It's just her IQ and her cardio. She can't manage her cardio. She just goes spaz. So who knows? Maybe if she keeps fighting like that. I want to say Horth just keeps getting her kicks caught. Like, she's so slow and lumbering. So she got taken down off caught kicks like 5 times by Cowden. So yeah, I'll see how this fight plays out. I mean, I don't have to force a first fight of the night, low women's pick'em fight. So speaking of past fights, or maybe they're not. We got Wellington Turman versus Jared Nitrate Gooden. So this one, I'll take this one away just because I think you're exhausted from breaking down the other one. hopefully you're prepared for a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it that minus 200 in Wellington Turman is probably wide. I did tape it. I did feel like it probably is wide. I just don't like the fact that Jared Gooden is an absolute turtle off his back. And whenever he's facing grapplers, his hands are extremely low. And he has good underhooks when he can time it, when people come in. But once they take him down, once they get on his hips, he gets taken down. And then he's just a fish. He's just a fish. And he loses striking fights as well. So he didn't get a takedown. He didn't get taken down in round one. He didn't get taken down in round one or round two by Abubakar, and he still lost 30-27 because he's just an idiot. His hands are low, and he's happy to eat punches to his face to stop a takedown that's not there. So he's just right 30-27 there, and 30-27 by Carlton Harris, who Carlton Harris again, he struck with him for all the first round. So yeah, I trust this guy to somehow, if he doesn't get taken down, I still feel like Turman will sit down on his punches more because that's what he does. He won 30-27 against Sam Alvey in the striking round and even hurt Sam Alvey, late. I know it's Sam Alvey, but look at Wellington Turman's career. He's just like, who else is a really compatible? He's fought a bunch of strikers, a bunch of grapplers. Andrew Sanchez knocked him out. So yeah, I feel this is like a shit show. The over-unders are a shit show. He played the plus money under. Gooden's going to like wobble him, hurt him, and Turman's going to hurt him, and they're just going to end up grappling. And I think Gooden has good submission defense, so it's a dog or pass. No doubt in my mind. I do not want to be forcing Wellington Turman minus 200. Yeah, I think this is just like one of those fights that I'm going to sit back and live bet. I think there's going to be a lot of cage push. Wellington Turman cage pushed Brown in his last one. There's a lot of people saying he did well, dropping down to welterweight. But all he did was cage push. And Brown will do Brown things, dancing and just giving away minutes. Gooden's going to throw at least. Or maybe he won't. Who knows? So, yeah, pass fight all around for me. What about you, mate?
Yeah, same. And there's always a chance this fight gets canceled because Gordon's had two really bad weight misses. I think was he 7 pounds over for his last fight?
Yeah, but this one's not short notice as far as I know. He loves taking fights on short notice.
Just seems like it's a problem for him. Yeah, I know. Look, I'm not rushing in the window to get to somebody less than plus 200 who's 1-4 in the UFC, even if he's had a decent strength schedule. Turman doesn't have great takedowns. I mean, I know his percentage in the UFC is pretty crappy. The Silva fight I thought was interesting, but his striking's getting better now. I mean, he's training with better guys. He's training with Pereira. He's training with Teixeira. He's still 27. So, the striking can still improve. I just think that, he's only going to improve. I haven't seen any improvements from Gooden. I'm not rushing to get the Turman at minus 200. He's somebody I'd rather back at, plus 180. But I think Turman wins. Probably wins decision. I know these guys, both get finished a lot, but I kind of lean overs. I just think you mentioned the cage push with Brown. I think Turman just wants to stay safe, eat minutes. And I think Gooden gets in positions where when he gets on the ground, it's not just that he's turtling up. He's there's no urgency for him to get up. He wants to lay there, do the best he can to avoid major damage. And then I don't know. I just feels like this is a Turman decision, but I don't want any part of this one either. Not at this price.
Yeah, man. Yep. So do you, I think there's a lot of rumors going around that you're an anti-Semite. I think unblocking the Jewish better would kind of.
I mean, I am friends with Couch Warrior, so who is a guest on your show.
No, he hasn't been a guest on my show, actually.
He was a guest on your show once. Absolutely, he was. You had a daytime show. Or was this on his?
No, I've been on his multiple times.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't bring on someone that's Jewish in Ukraine as well. So
it's fair.
And what the algorithm won't allow. Pepper Silva. Turman has better leg kicks and striking defense. Yeah. He's got a very good rear body lock takedown. He gets on the back and then slams people. But if he can't get it, he's just holding on the whole time. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of cage time here.
Do you like the overs at all?
No, because they're minus money, so I just feel like it's accurate. Yeah. It's just one of those ones. You play the under because you're tempted by Gooden KO and maybe Turman KO, and then you're just hugging. You play the over, and it's like they're rocking each other all over the place, and you're like, I made a bad bet. Evan Dominguez, everyone and their mother on Horth. Well, I don't know, man, because she was a bigger favorite, so obviously a lot of money's come in on. I actually know a lot of people that's on Hardy, which are dog money, you know. Can't go wrong. I reckon she starts off well.
The usual jabronis on Twitter are on Horth, though.
The usual jabroni, what does that mean?
The usual people that are all groupthink on Twitter are all on the Horth.
Well, Pepe's on Horth. Pepe's on Horth.
Pepe's not the usual people on Twitter.
No.
Pepe's a line mover.
I watched Brendan Levis podcast, and he's on Hardy, which I don't know what that says, but anyway. Ilya Potieria, the duelist, versus Rodolfo Bellato. So, call me crazy, man, but I'm contemplating this Ukrainian bum. Losing money on Amasov didn't help me learn a lesson. But obviously, he's a massive dog, so I don't think Bellato should be this much of a favorite over anyone. He is, tinny. He's a bit stiff. He's got awful defense. He's slow. And I played him in Contender Series, but, it's easy to play him against the middleweight. It's an overrated middleweight that just had a knee surgery 7 months ago, and at plus, 300, plus 200, whatever that was when the line kept moving, I just kept adding. But not at $1.25. I don't even know what that is in American odds. And say what you will about Potieria, right? He is overrated, and I mean not overrated, but his record is overrated, and he's fought a bunch of bums, and even a bunch of bums in the UFC, and he's only knocked out Shogun, and he got knocked out by Nikolai. But he's got fast hands, and he's young. He's 27. He does have hands, and he's got this little nice trip that he does that actually Bellato does too. I don't know. He's for the one round before he gasses out. I kind of like what I see from him. Obviously getting put in there with Olberg. Like, what is he meant to do there? He never had a chance. But yeah, I mean, I look at the under. The under's minus 200. Right. By the way, this card, the bookies are really testing me in this card. This is a card for Steve. They said let's put 80% of the totals at under 1.5 and make the majority of them plus money, and let's see if we can bait Steve into them. So this one is like minus 200, and it's no thanks. I think Potieria is relatively durable. You can see in his Nikolai fight, he takes an absolute beating, and it's an attritional beating, and he gassed, and he was still up against the cage, and he didn't drop, and Herzog kind of saved him because he was taking so much damage. Sure, Bellato can crack, but I don't want to rely on the guy to finish, in under 1.5. He's patient, and he's only destroyed cab drivers early on LFA, and he dropped Petrino, but you still have to go out there and finish. He does have a good submission game. I see a lot of people think he's going to sub Potieria, but his wrestling is absolutely awful wrestling. He pulls guard and stuff when he fails. So I don't think Poteria's wrestling defense is that bad. I mean, he did all right against Nikolai. So yeah, it's an easy dog or pass. It's just, will I come around on Potieria? Everyone, the few people I told, they were like, oh, you're not going to bet him, are you? I was like, yeah, but it's another Jekka, right? It's another Jekka. People, you can't bet Jekka, right? He's awful, right? But we'll see, man. Maybe I'll go around to some Potieria KO round 1, maybe Potieria KO round 2. I mean, how does he win this decision? It's possible, but it's the cardio that's stopping me, And I used to think Bellato had awful cardio until I seen him go 5 rounds in LFA and kind of pace himself. So I think he's improving. I think he's ironing out some of that low IQ bull crap. But yeah, this is Potieria will pass, and we'll see. We'll see by the end of the week. Maybe it takes a few $100 from me. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, we're paying the Brazilian Dana White's Contender Series tax for a debutant here with Bellato. Yeah, I mean, the narrative seems to be he can get one takedown, this fight's over, but I'm not so sure. One thing about Potieria that you didn't mention that I like is I don't like his striking defense, but he's got a really good left hand. And just from all the tape I saw on Bellato, he's not facing guys who are throwing powerful lefts. So it's going to be kind of a different look for him, at least live. I'm sure he's training it, but I think Potieria definitely has the power to put him out. You're talking about his cardio. I could see this fight being kind of almost a staring contest for the first 2-3 minutes. They both have to respect each other's power. I mean, with the Negramanu fight, he's not known for being some like one-punch knockout guy. So I think Potieria was fine kind of being a little more reckless and just going for it early and then he gassed. I don't think that's the case here. I think he could pace himself a little better just trying to mine his P's and Q's against Bellato. I don't want to play the over 1.5, but I'm going to look at this price of fight starts round 2 when it comes out, and it's probably going to be like plus 140 range. I might be tempted on it. I might be.
Do you think you'll be plus money? Probably will be.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unless the over takes a massive action before then.
I doubt. I mean, I don't think people are rushing in the window to bet over 1.5 in a fight like this. But yeah, I mean, it would be Potieria or pass for me if just on a money line. And I'm with you. I don't know how he has decision equity here. He's not a minute winner. So I mean, unless Bellato just has like a debut stunt where he throws no volume, and Potieria just kind of kicks at him and pieces him up, I don't really know how he wins a decision here. So
yeah. It's the same as it's got so much similarities like the Jekka fight for me. It's like
I was on Jekka too, by the way. We were both on Jekka for that.
We were. I'm annoyed I didn't take advantage of the his win path like round 1 KO, which apparently was astronomical numbers, because I couldn't play him big because I was like, when this gets out of round 1, he's just gonna gas out, and Alexander's probably gonna be dancing around him, like kicking him, and it's the same as this, if Ilya gets out of round 1, it's like, what's he going to do? It's his cardio. His cardio looks awful.
I had that round 3 submission at 80-1 because I just didn't need the $10 that I had in my account.
Yeah, I was like, why round 3? He's probably going to be dead by round 3. But yeah, I think there's a lot more decision equity in Potieria than Jekka, for example, because he's, if it's a staring match, by the end of round 1 in Contender Series, right, Bellato was eating so many shots from Taha. And he started so well, and I think that's why I added more live at plus money. I think that's why we had plus money, because he just started eating so many bombs at the end of round 1. He was letting Taha back into the fight. Luckily, Taha was already gassed because his dude never gets out of round 1. But yeah, he can probably, Potieria, if it's low output, they're staring at each other and he starts well and he lets Potieria crack him a couple of times. I could see decision equity, but let's move on. So this is the first one that I was really, really tempted on the under 1.5. And then at the exact same time, you hit me up on Twitter. So Steve Garcia, Mean Machine. I've got a soft spot for Steve. Massive underdog. Hit him a few times in the UFC. Versus V Costa. I actually hit him at massive juice against Overlingo. I regret not having a 2-unit bet on him. But I'll let you take this one away, sir.
I think I'm going to end up betting Steve Garcia here against my better judgment. So I think Garcia is going to be better with just the pure boxing. Costa is going to be better with the kicks. The one thing I noticed about a lot of Costa's opponents, like we're saying that Costa's shown some durability, and he has, but a lot of his opponents really don't have great striking, and they're just threatening the grappling. I think the only guy he faced that had a lot of KOs was Tom Santos, who is pretty bad.
He wobbled him as well.
Yeah, so I don't think Costa's really faced guys that threaten the striking like Garcia does. And the one thing we know about Garcia, he's going to almost bum rush him like 5 seconds into this fight and just start throwing bombs. He fights for your money. He can get rocked. I mean, Garcia gets, even Ontiveros rocked him. Like, he gets rocked every fight. It's almost like what he needs to wake up. But I think that Garcia is going to be the strongest puncher that Costa's ever faced. So the durability is going to be tested. I think Garcia is definitely going to have moments in the first round, and we'll see if Costa can withstand it. If this thing hits the ground, I know you were saying like the Costa likes to shoot. I don't think Garcia is terrible on the ground. Like, he can't get stuck on the ground. That's the problem. But Garcia, when I see him on the ground, he's not like throwing up tons of submissions and then like that aren't going to work. Like, he's just being active. He's active, trying to do stuff. He's throwing elbows. He's doing anything he can to at least make it uncomfortable on the ground. I think this is probably just a stand-up fight for the majority of it. I think they're both going to have moments. I mean, part of this is personal bias because Garcia's made me money like a ton of times, except the Mahashate fight. But yeah, I like Garcia, and I really like the under here. I really do, because if Garcia does wobble Costa and he starts just kind of getting pissed, I mean, you're talking about him shooting a takedown, but I think those kicks to the body could really sap Garcia too. So we'll see how that goes. I think under 1.5 plus money is good. but the Garcia KO, it's like plus 385. Like, it's almost 4-1. Like, I think I got to take a shot on it.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Like I said, it's soft spot for this guy. I mean, he's been amazing dog in the UFC, plus 300 and something over Hooper, and similar over Narambeke, plus 150. I played him there too, and then I think I was on a rough streak at that point. That card got me out of tilt. It was April. That card got me out of tilt, but it started off with Garcia eating the biggest bomb and his eyes rolling back, and I was like, oh, not like this. And then he recovered, and he knocked out Shalian. But yeah, the guy literally gets dropped by everyone. Almost one-shotted by Shalian, one-shotted by Makashate, rocked 3 times by Charlie Ontiveros. The only guy that didn't hurt him was Chase Hooper.
Well, he didn't have a chance to hurt him.
Yeah, exactly. But he had a couple of shots from Chase Hooper. So yeah, I mean, as I'm taping, I'm like, man, I can't believe this 1.5 is set at plus money. Like, someone's going down. Garcia. I think Garcia can literally knock out anyone. And I overtaped this. I overtaped it. I looked at every single Costa fight, even though I already did that when I played the juice against Lingo, just to see, can this guy be hurt? Because I feel like tradition has pretty good durability, and it wasn't actually Tom Costa that hurt him. That guy was like a bum that he finished, but it was not Tom Santos. Pardon me. It was Leonardo Santos in future, and the guy it was 8-2 at the time. He's like 9-3 now. He's a pretty good fighter, but he's a decision machine. And he caught Costa with an overhand right, and he kind of stumbled him back, and then Costa shot in straight away, and then took his back. I think the same thing can happen here. Garcia can be taken down. Costa can be taken down. Costa inverts for legs. He gets on the back. I see my local man shakes fist. Costa sub, grappling edge. He hasn't seen it. He had it in other spots. Sub game being underrated. I saw the same stuff about Lingo, and he had Lingo's back and he couldn't finish him. I think Costa gets a lot of back takes, and he inverts for legs a lot, and he just can't finish anyone. It's one of those ones where, one of those sub plays where he forces people to donate to him because he has like decent jiu-jitsu, but it's just that the finishing, the finishing. And we've seen a lot of people like that in the UFC, They seem to have good jiu-jitsu, but they can't just finish when it comes into a fight. So I think if this over gets burnt, under gets burnt, it's probably because of grappling. Garcia, he cracks him, Costa shoots, or Costa hurts him to the body. Garcia shoots because that's what he did to Ontiveros. And I think Garcia has good offensive wrestling, even though his defensive jiu-jitsu is a bit average. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Well, when I tape this many fights, I'm probably overthinking it. Like, plus money under, like, what can go wrong? Garcia is going to fight for your money, or fight for the under, should I say? Like, the man is extremely aggressive, and he's never changed his style. Even in the UFC, he's never changed his style. It's not like you see some people from the regionals that come into the UFC and they're like, all right, I'm going to be more patient now. No, Garcia is just like, he wants that round 1 KO. The only thing is, Costa is so negative, right? He loves to just run away and kick, and he doesn't punch to the body, doesn't punch to the head. That's where Garcia is weak. I've never seen him hurt to the body. Again, I'm overthinking it, but it's like one guy. I'll do my video on the under 1.5 soon. I was going to do it yesterday, but I had no time. And what I was going to say in it is, like, I would like both guys to fight for my under. If Costa wins, probably goes over. If Garcia wins, probably goes under. So it's like, if I'm favoring Costa, he's going to be running away. And someone said Lingo is extremely durable. Sure, he is, but he's really weak to the body. And Costa hurt him in round 1 to the body and he couldn't finish. He also hurt Melo in LFA to the body and he couldn't finish. So it's like getting hurt to the body. It's like, you get hurt, you drop, and then it's up to the guy to actually finish you, not just let you get up and recover. So, by the end of the week, I might get on it because, plus money, what can go wrong? Half a unit. But I might even, I'm looking at Bet365 and I've got alternative unders. In the under 2.5, it's better than minus 200. So
it's not bad.
We'll see. Like, can Garcia survive 3 rounds, of those kicks? We'll see. But yeah, this could be one of those ones where the fight goes for 30 seconds and Steve Garcia just runs through him. So good luck to you if you've actually locked that in already. That's probably the best. I said a lot of them are tempting me today, the under 1.5s. That's probably the best one on the card.
The price is just, it's, they know what they're doing. They're drawing us in.
I mean, I really should have played it. When I'm halfway through the fight and I want to lock the bet in and I haven't finished my research, that should be a play. So maybe we'll see. We'll see how I feel by the end of the day. All right, Joe Solecki, Drakkar Klose. I'll let you take this one away, mate.
All right, I'm not going to bet this pre-fight, but I am going to look at a live entry on Drakkar Klose. So there's a couple things that, first of all, he's coming off torn ACL. So I really need to see how he looks the first couple of minutes of this fight. It's pretty binary. I mean, it should be close. Huge advantage on the feet. Solecki is definitely going to shoot takedowns here. He's never had the striking to really threaten. I think we know what the game plan here is. I also don't love Solecki's cardio. I think if Klose could even stuff one takedown here, I think that at least he could start wearing Solecki out. And that's when I'd look for a live entry, maybe get plus 250 after one if Solecki just kind of top times him. It doesn't really do any damage. I worry because Klose has been taken down every single fight, I believe, except for the Brandon Jenkins fight where he just steamrolled him like the guy owed him money. But there's one thing that I thought was interesting when I was looking at some of the stats and some of Klose's fights. You know, I told you the other day that one of my bigger problems with Klose is doesn't really fight with urgency. So it makes me kind of hard to back him. I think this line is very accurate for a binary fight. But I went back and took a look at some of Klose's stats, and he's throwing not just by like 2 or 3. He's throwing way more and landing more strikes in the third round of pretty much every fight he's in. I'm talking like some of these fights, he's had like 45 strikes in the second, 78 in the third. So this is a guy who definitely is showing urgency late in fights and putting on volume. So I like that against a guy in Solecki where as the fight goes on and he starts sapping that cardio a little bit, just going for takedowns, is going to be ripe for the pick and to get hit. Klose isn't a big finisher, but if it's one-way traffic on the feet for the entire third round, I suppose round 3 finish isn't out of the question. But I'm going to look for a Klose live bet either after one, or if Solecki just starts spamming takedowns and maybe can't get, maybe they're not coming as easy as we thought in the first. But really the torn ACL is what's keeping me off a Drakkar Klose bet right now.
Yeah, torn ACL and being 35 years of age. I think it's his second ACL injury too. Let me just double check.
Yeah, I mean, and he's 35 now too. So coming off another ACL injury is not. I mean, it's not ideal.
Yeah, I just said that. What do we got? Subhuman Gaucho took a small position on Solecki. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't feel great about it either. Yeah, so flip-flopping on this one, I think it's just pick him is accurate. I would have said my boy Pepe turned to 35 recently, I think. You're right, it is young. But if you do martial arts, it doesn't feel young. I feel old at 30, 31. I feel horrible. And I messed up my neck too, so... I feel like Pick'em is accurate. This was Pick'em, and then a bit of money came in on Klose, and I thought, yep, accurate. Klose is going to break this dude. And then you look at it, and you've got some people in the Discord, they're playing Solecki at plus money. And as I'm taping, I'm like, yep, that makes sense, because Klose can't stop a takedown, and he loves getting backpacked. Dariush, Giagos, even if you go all the way back to Land of Venata, even backpacked him, and Bobby Green taking him down with ease. But yeah, and then if he doesn't get submitted, which he never has been in his life, even though he was close by Dariush, people saying showed good submission defense, he was breaking Dariush's fingers there and he was biting him as well. So that's it's one of those ones you want to see that if you bet on the guy, he's going to cheat not to get choked out. Take 3 points away, just don't let him sink in the rear naked choke, right? But yeah, if he doesn't get submitted, Joe Solecki is quite flaky, and I faded him a bunch of times. I faded him against Gordon, and that was a split decision because Gordon looked awful in that one as well. He pulls guard, he gets cracked. His defense is extremely worrying. He got cracked by Jamey-Lyn in one of the rounds, and he just fell down and was happy to concede guard. For a guy that's good at jiu-jitsu, he has no bottom game, like no guard whatsoever. When he's on his back, he stays on his back. Jared Gordon as well took him down, stayed on his back. Alex De Silva, a lot of people ask me, what's your best positive variance? What's your best negative variance? My best positive has to be Motor last week, and I'll probably remember that forever. And It's also Brundage, who we'll speak about soon enough, or we might just skip it because he's going to lose extremely quick. But my worst negative is betting Alex de Silva and taping way too many fights and going in there confident, and then he drops Solecki in the first exchange, and I'm like, I got this. This is round one, Silva. Again, he doesn't get up off his back. Solecki, when he's on his back. And then round two comes along. He gets backpacked by Solecki, which can happen to Klose as well, round one or round two. And then he has his toes in the cage. He's doing nothing with them. He just has his toes in the cage. He's not walking. And old mate Chris Taglioni, the GOAT, takes a point away. Then round three starts, and just Solecki gets his head dinged all over the place by Silva, and then ends up pulling guard again, and then finishes the round one. I'm like, easy peasy, 29-28. Kept the fight to perfection, taped every fight. And then I end up losing a unanimous decision somehow, not even a draw, because apparently one judge gave round two a 10-8. So it was a 10-7 with the point deduction for just back control with no damage whatsoever. And then the other judge gave round three to Solecki.
Good old Sal D'Amato gave him a 10-9 in the third.
And out of all the judges, Adelaide Bird is the only one that got it right. She gave De Silva round 1 and 3, and round 2 was 10-8. And I was like, man. And she's the one the cops flack from DC and stuff had to go retire. And I was like, that's the most tilting. I'm just sitting down. I'm like,
I have it up right now, and it's Bird, Derek Cleary, and Sal D'Amato.
I know. I get tilted. I get tilted every time I take
like you can't get like a more
And then the ref in the cage is Chris Taglioni, and he takes away the first point in history for toes in the cage, and he's not even walking. He just has his feet there and he's defending. Meanwhile, Taglioni's slapping his arm that he's defending the choke with. He's like, get your finger out of the glove. He's getting choked to death. And then he's slapping his toes as he's getting choked. You get your toes out of the cage, even though he's not doing anything with them. And then he just takes a point. Anyway, retarded. So, I just think if he can survive that, round 3, the Klose is going to put on Solecki when he's pulling guard, when he's absolutely gassed. I think he might finish it, man. Klose, he's 35, and he's looked a bit tired himself, but I think there's a step down from Garcia, who's got elite takedown defense and elite chin and, not the best cardio. But yeah, Joe Solecki's flaky. I ended up just going Klose to Solecki to now I'm leaning Klose. I might still play Klose at Pick'em just because I don't want to miss out on a live bet. I'm also feeling like maybe I should do a live bet because if he gets backpacked, it's going to shoot up to like plus 200 or something, and then it's going to be an easy live bet. But I don't want to miss out on it. If Solecki gets dropped in round 1 like the Silva again, because his defense is awful. It's truly awful. And Klose, the calf kick's going to be there. He's got the better cardio. Klose is going to fight for your money, and Solecki won't. Solecki is a flake. Only one of these guys is a flake. So even at Pick'em, I would take the less flaky guy. But I'm not going to force it. We'll see how we go.
14-1 for the round 3 KO.
It's going to get my money. I think that one. I'm angry about missing out on what's the name, Rebus round 3 last week. It was so obvious. I don't know how I forgot about it. But I might lock this one now so I don't forget about it.
It's a prop to consider and then maybe bet.
It's stop trying to plug your show on my show, mate. I've actually been on your show a bunch, so it's fun.
Highest ratings ever.
I would say so, yeah. I bring in the older ladies, the single mums. But at least, unlike Couch, at least you've been on my show.
Correct.
Which he can't say. Maybe if he renounces his citizenship and his faith, and maybe he goes Serbian Orthodox and just American. I could be American,
But only for like UFC Singapore. It can't be for like a pay-per-view. You have to renounce all of it for like UFC Jacksonville or something.
No, he's definitely that card has his name on it. We'll see. All right. Speaking of amazing fights, Cody Brundage versus Zach Reese. Now, I did want to skip this one, but I'll let you talk about it if you're going to be relatively quickish.
I mean, it's my former friend, Cody Brundage, wants nothing to do with me now for saying he quit during the Malkoon fight.
Well, I thought you didn't want to have anything to do with him because you've lost so much money betting on him.
Well, I didn't bet that fight. I didn't bet on that fight.
My bad. I mixed it up. I thought it was the other way around.
I wrote some comment like, I mean, if I got a second chance at my dream job, like I'm not quitting it under any adversity, like immediately and whatever. But
No, I would. I would. He's back for another fight. I thought it was gonna be like a Charles Johnson, where people are finally giving up on him after he lost the money for the fourth time. But yeah, for
So,
some reason,
yeah,
Cody's angry at you because he quit. So,
but this line, I mean, is everything you need to know about what they view with Cody. So I watched the 9 minutes of available Zach Reese tape, and there's two things I don't like. I don't think he keeps his hands up. I mean, Amarov got him, but even the other guy in LFA like hit him a couple of times. He just took it. And the other thing is he seems to throw a lot of kicks where he slips. Now, this may actually work to his advantage because then Cody's going to like dive on top and go for a guillotine. And then Reese will have him exactly where he wants him once he slips out of it. But Reese has some good power. He throws up submissions. I mean, we just have such limited information on him. But Cody doesn't really seem like he wants to fight, and he has about 2 minutes of cardio. I think if you like Cody, you like him in like under half a round while Reese is keeping his hands down. But I think eventually any adversity happens in this fight, Reese just takes over, bonks him, could sub him here. The other 1.5 is what? -200. It's ridiculous. It's another one that's like,
it's accurate.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would even go a step further. I'll see what fight doesn't start round 2 is. If it's decently priced, maybe I'll consider it, but I don't know. I don't know if -260 is accurate, but he could definitely look -260 in this fight.
Indeed. 100%. I wrote down accurate so I wouldn't force it. I wrote 65 to 70%. If you can give it 70%, there's a little bit of value there. But yeah, I just think it's all predicated on Brundage, how flaky he is and how happy he is to quit in under 1.5 rounds, and how aggressive. He's also super aggressive. So every fight, no matter who it is, Malkoon, like I bet him there, round 1 KO, and Richard Cash. That goes down with Mota as my best variance. And yeah, I mean, he shot a takedown on Malkoon straight away. He's just like, why would you do that? Why would you grapple a grappler when your path is to KO him in the first round? And after that, we all know you're going to lose. So he's going to shoot here, and he's going to take Reese down because, as you said, tall man defense, hands low, stiff. Like everyone cracks him, and Amarov cracked him. Amarov's takedown was actually an overhand into the takedown, and I bet him on Contender. I was like, man, this is going to be a knockout. So Cody will definitely take him down. He's got solid wrestling, that's for sure. And then after that is, will he get subbed like Amarov? I can completely see that. If he doesn't take him down, like you said, he throws a lot of kicks and he's throwing in that stepping knee, which is very aggressive. Right? I know a lot of people lost money on that Brundage under against Dumas, right? The juiced under. But I think this is a different fight because Dumas is not good, and he also came in like a pansy, right? I don't think Zach will have that. Zach is extremely aggressive in every fight. And because of that, he's hittable, and because of that, he's easy to take down. But then he's also going to aggressively hunt for subs. So if Cody takes him down, I think the sub is live. If they stand, I think Zach is going to make him extremely uncomfortable with his knees and kicks and pressure, or Cody will crack him. Or if Cody ends up on the bottom, I think that's going to be a wrap because Zach has really good ground and pound. Like he doesn't just lay on top. He's aggressive ground and pound. Again, it's going off, the Fury bumps that he's run through. Amarov is the best guy he's finished. I was actually really nervous about my play when I was retaping Amarov. I thought he was a lot more physical and he had potential to just grind out Zach. I don't think Cody has that. He's got the physicality and wrestling, but he's just the mental. He's just going to flake at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Just get specific and Zach round 1 sub, maybe $3 plus 200. I'm sure you're looking at it right now. Yep. I can see your beady eyes getting focused on the screen.
Reese 4-1.
What is that? $3
plus 400.
Oh, that's good. $5. Jesus,
round 1 sub.
That's not bad at all. It's just a poke, Like if you're gonna, you have to have action on this fight, right? You have to.
I mean, the round 1 KO is plus 350, so they're not even sure. They're not even sure what he's going to do here, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like with those ones, if you tape the fight perfectly, you can kind of see how it's going to go exactly. I mean, is this the fight for the first time that Cody's not going to shoot? It would make sense after I bet the sub, of course. But
I mean, he didn't shoot against Trayshawn Gore, and that was the one fight he like 1,000,000% completely should have shot in.
Did he not shoot at all? I didn't retape it. I know.
They kind of like hit the ground. It wasn't really like a pure takedown. They were like against the cage, and they kind of Like
I know
Gore
he dropped
kind
him.
of, his striking was, he was hitting, he was popping Gore every time he threw something. And Gore kind of went inside and went for like some kind of horrible looking takedown, and they just kind of tumbled to the ground. But, and then he started getting lit up and then went for a takedown. But I mean, he puts himself in the worst possible condition to fight. Like, he's going against Vieira, he goes for takedowns. Against Olajayshik, he had the right idea, but he bonked him to get him down. It wasn't even like a pure takedown. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he has like a plan A when he gets in there, to be honest.
He doesn't have. Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say plan B, but you're right. He doesn't have plan A either. Alrighty, Grobat CK. They really fucked the Australian betting community with a DQ. Well, I mean, if you had Malkoon, you probably deserve it, man. I don't. Yeah, honestly, but I'll say this: Malkoon is an idiot. That was the first time he actually had finish on the platter because he's a decision machine. He couldn't get maximum out of there with a blown ACL in the first round, and then he gets DQ'd, and it was a legitimate DQ. It was an elbow to the back of the head. That guy, yeah, I think his background is Lebanese. That's all I'll say. Deserves it. Alrighty, so you can see I skipped over Miesha Tate, Julia Avila. I didn't realize Avila was 35 years old and she's coming off a pregnancy. So
the double pregnancy angle.
Yeah, but pregnancy angle was not bad because.
But the double pregnancy angle.
When Miesha Tate came back from pregnancy,
but they're both right. So it's all.
Yeah, when Miesha Tate came back, she looked best as she ever looked. I know it was a retiring Renault, but she looked jacked. And then when Mackenzie Dern came back from pregnancy, her body also looked the best it's ever looked, and she also looked jacked. So. Anyway, I didn't take the fight, so you got anything to add on that?
Nope.
No. All right, let's move on. Puna Haley Soriano, Dustin Stoltzfus. So this is the other really, really tempting under 1.5 at plus money. And again, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for some reason, right? Obviously, Puna's a decent favorite, right? I think he's getting quite a favorable matchup here. I think Dustin Stoltzfus, I know for a fact Dustin is not UFC level. The only win he has in the UFC is Dwight Grant, which is an awful fight, and somehow Dwight Grant could not land once on him in 3 rounds, and Dustin is extremely stiff and hittable and has no head movement. Luckily, he did get his comeuppance against Abus Magomedov in 19 seconds. I laid the juice $1.40, and that was a 2-unit play, and then I got scared because all of Twitter and all the podcasts I was listening to were like, oh yeah, I wouldn't play this guy, Magomedov or Juice. This tape is a bit sus in the long layoff. And I was like, shit. Every time I play Juice, I get burnt. And then just one up kick up the middle, and it was over. But yeah, I think Abus, he's a lot more dangerous. That guy's extremely explosive early, and he's got a variety of stuff, and he's got kicks, and that front kick. I don't think Stoltzfus didn't see it coming, and he didn't go out. He just stumbled. I think that kick is like an Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort kick that KOs a lot of people. So I think he has a decent chin, and Puna Hanley, he just has that left hand, and he telegraphs it a lot. So a lot of people see it coming. They can put the guard up. The only time he knocks people out is when he kind of shortens it and straightens it instead of loading up so much. But the more he gets gassed, the less effective it is. If he hit that hard with it, he would have a lot more KOs. He would have finished Jamie Pickett. I think the Dushko fight was early. I bet him by KO over Pichota, who's extremely chinny. He landed Allen. He hit Allen with a few big ones. He hit Maximo with a few big ones, and then he busted him up, and he couldn't finish him. Took him, to round 2 to finish Dalcha. To hit a few big ones on Kopilov as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think Stoltzfus has a good chin, man, even though he's stiff, and I think Soriano can be a bit patient, and then he could just go over. He can go over. I even watched Dustin Stoltzfus kickboxing fight where he got knocked out in round 1, but he was so small. It was this Romanian animal who was a light heavyweight. You could tell that it was a weight class apart, and obviously he was super sharp. Kickboxing fundamentals just lit him up and killed him. So yeah, I still haven't. And then to make it worse, I saw someone, I saw Evan post the over 1.5 rounds, and it's like, now I was 50-50, and now I'm going against other people that I respect that are playing the over at minus money. Yeah, I'm passing on it, but with Garcia, this is one I'm also considering because bad matchup for Stoltzfus. He's got bad wrestling. He's stiff. He's slow. He's hittable, and Soriano will have target practice. It's just will he knock him out? What do you say, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm sick and tired of hearing people tell me that Puna Soriano has all this great high school wrestling when it's just very clear we're never going to see it. But every fight there's the narrative. Oh, he's got this great wrestling background. Like he's not
regionals. If you watch his regionals,
but he's not going to use it. He doesn't. He just not interested in using it.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have the cardio to use it.
He uses it in reverse.
Yeah, and I don't think he has the cardio to use it here. So this is going to be one where I'm going to completely be against probably everybody. I actually do like the over 1.5 here.
You bitch.
Well, I don't think Stoltzfus has any finishing upside.
You anti-Semite.
If you like the under, why wouldn't you just take Soriano in the distance at -125, which isn't bad.
Exactly. It's predicated on Soriano finishing.
So not only do I like the over, but I'm just going to throw this out there. As bad a matchup as this can be, I might look to live bet Stoltzfus if you give me 5-1. And the reason is the one thing I've noticed the most about Soriano is his power doesn't carry past 6-7 minutes. If this fight gets to the second round, it's going the distance. I kind of feel like it's one of those fights, don't do an alt line under 2.5. If this thing gets past the 6-7 minute mark, it's probably going, because Stoltzfus is not going to have any urgency to get a finish. He's just going to stay on the outside. He's going to pitter patter. He might just go for cage pushing here. And Soriano at that point, I've seen him late in fights. He's just kind of winging bombs with no setups. I think Stoltzfus will be able to get out of the way. I mean, Soriano could even win a decision here, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does enough for 8 minutes and Stoltzfus does absolutely dick the third round. But I kind of favor the over here too. But I may look, depending on what price you give me on Stoltzfus, if you really didn't take any damage in the first round, you're giving me 5-1 on him. It might be interesting. I don't know. With Soriano in the third round, I would never be comfortable holding a ticket there. So we'll see. We'll see what the price is. But I don't think this is a slam dunk round 1 KO like everybody else does.
No, not at all. Not at all. Otherwise, I would have locked the under 1.5 in already at plus money. I'm telling you, the bookies
they know.
They saw that I was over 50,000, and they're like, all right, we can get him. We can get him by offering 3 or 4 plus money under 1.5s and just tempt him with that. But no, I haven't locked one of them in yet, right? I'm on it. Not rushing anything in December, right? We can't go backwards, Lou. Only forward. But I agree with you. It's I think Puna power is a bit overrated, and his accuracy is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And I just want to correct you because I haven't done it yet. And, I think everyone's shooting in so I can correct you. He did wrestle against Jamie Pickett, and he did try to wrestle against Dalcha, which makes me think he's an absolute retard. Straight away, 30 seconds in, he shot against Dalcha. I'm like, you're not going to be able to wrestle this guy. Why would you choose to wrestle this guy, but not they didn't wrestle against Kapilov until it was too late. Yeah.
Do you know who chose not to wrestle against Dalcha? Cody Brundage.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't be able to take him down because Dalcha's a beast.
He chose to get his face punched in for 4 minutes and then hit the miracle guillotine.
Come on, mate. You don't. People with good guillotines like myself, that's all part of the game plan.
Okay. Get battered relentlessly and then hit it.
The way I roll in jiu-jitsu, it's probably why my neck is destroyed at 31 years of age, is I get rear naked choked for about 4 minutes of the 6-minute round, getting cranked left and right, cracking, jaw crank, don't tap. And then the guy gets gassed and I get out and I lock in a guillotine with 30 seconds to go.
Yeah. We call that in America, we call that the Homer Simpson approach.
I know. I'm the Homer Simpson of jiu-jitsu. All right. Clay Guida, Joaquim Silva. Yeah. What does it say? 2 wash guys. I contemplated. I kind of wish I took the under 2.5 on when it was pick'em in this fight, because it's essentially the same price as Joaquim Silva inside the distance. Now that it moved, I would rather play Joaquim Silva inside the distance, but that would have been a safe alternative, because I do think Silva's extremely chinny. He got knocked out by a slam in his last one, and I mean the guy was knocked out by Ricky Glenn in the first round. He's extremely chinny. He got dropped by Gordon twice. So Guida can do it. I remember, he hurt Jim Miller. He had that round 1 KO over Lozon when I was a casual bettor. The guy's got underrated pop in his punches. if anyone can be knocked out by Clay Guida, it's Joaquin Silva. And obviously Joaquin Silva has that amazing flying knee that he just lands in round 2 all the time, right, against Jared Gordon. Jesse Ronson. So yeah, maybe I look at some Silva round 2, Silva sub, but it's awful price. The bookies are on it. I was hoping for like plus 800 because he doesn't, everyone's talking about he's never had a sub, even though when he took Gordon down, he hit a bloody Suluev stretch that Clay Guida would tap to 100%. And Gordon's a Gracie brown belt at that time. So I was hoping the bookies would not be on it, but they're on it, man. Like, it's awful price. So yeah, I just look at some Joaquin Silva inside the distance, maybe round 2, so I don't waste too much money on it. Guida can survive. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't parlay Silva. He's low volume, he's washed. And I wouldn't play Guida. I think, yeah. I played him against Stoltzfus, and that's because Stoltzfus was also old and retiring. But I think this Silva's a lot more dangerous. And Garcia completely shutting Guida down. That was the most washed Guida's looked in a while. So yeah, pass fight all around. Maybe look at some Silva inside the distance.
Yeah, I agree. With the inside the distance is the only way I'd play it. He could get the submission. I mean, all these lines are predicated on Guida's losing conditions. Like, the sub price is shitty because Guida gets sub. It's not because Silva's shown any submissions. So I don't really like when they do that, like it, because it takes away from us, like, trying to be smart about it. But you're talking about these knees he throws in the second round. Well, what is Guida really doing a lot of as he's gotten older and older and older? He just does a lot of this, moving his head side to side, but staying in range. And I do think that he's very liable to just get absolutely cracked up the middle with a knee. So I think Silva puts him away. Could be a club and sub too. But I'm not really interested in don't parlay this. Like, if you don't play it in a distance, don't play it.
Too late. Someone's already parlayed it. There's a lot of money's coming on Silva.
With over 0.5 rounds in the Avila fight.
I know that's a personal go at someone. I don't know who, but I'm sure you've already seen the play.
It's a generic go at, like, the people that do these kind of parlays.
It could be Couch.
Got to get that minus 340 to a nice, reasonable minus 295.
Fair enough. All righty, Sean Brady, Kevin Gastelum. I'll take this one away as well, just because it's my only play on the card, and then I'll let you finish with a bang. Yeah, first fight I taped because Gastelum at plus money, and we know how that Bilal fight went. I've always tried to fade Brady. He's kind of like not Sabatini. Yeah, Sabatini for me. Maybe it's because they're both from the Gracie, but it's not on purpose. It's just how it is. They're both flaky, they're both flaky, and I don't like this style of grappling. It's just hold on for dear life, and they have a lot of decisions, and it's kind of break people with pressure and top time and a lot of cage push. So yeah, he finally got what was coming to him against Brady, and when he wins against not Brady, Bilal, and when he wins, it's usually 29-28, and he usually drops rounds. He dropped round to Chiesa. He dropped the round to Nuriev. He dropped the round to Court McGee. And these are not great guys. The best guy that he's beat up until that point is Michael Chiesa. And, we've seen Holland handle him much better. Just run through him. And even Luque. So I think he's always been overrated, just like his mate Sabatini. And I went deep on Kevin Gastelum. I went too deep, probably. I went all the way back to Magny because I wanted to see his grappling at welterweight. Because now he's dropping down to welterweight. That's a bit of a question mark. And, he's just clearly lost 3 rounds to nil against Magny, and came on rounds 4 and 5. And, he gets taken down by Teal, and he gets taken, you see red flags in the Hermanson fight. I bet Hermanson by sub, and that was when I was a casual. And if I taped it today, I probably wouldn't have bet that, because I'm like, no way Hermanson gets a sub over Gastelum. And then he gets that heel hook that did not look locked in. The knee was past the knee line. And he just early tapped, and I know he didn't get a knee injury from that. So, yeah, he's not someone that's hard to take down. He's not someone that's hard to sub, and he gives his back up. So I passed on it at the time being. And then when I finished the whole card, I came back and I looked at it again, and it was still plus 120. And I was like, nah, I've been thinking about this for too long. I have to lock it in. I'll just do half a unit. So whatever happens, I'm not bothered. So I locked in Kevin Gastelum at plus 220, 120. I mean, it should be a pick 'em, right? Maybe. I think both these guys excel at what the other guy's really bad at. You know, it would be hard for me not to see a big moment from Kevin Gastelum, like a big left hand and a knockdown. He's done it to a lot of people at middleweight. You know, a lot of his recent tape getting grappled is big middleweights. You know, obviously Robert Whittaker took him down with these multiple times. Heinisch did too. And he does give up his back a lot, and he scrambles. And he scrambles by giving up his back, but like scrambling doesn't work on Brady. These guys are just like hold on for dear life. That's the issue. But yeah, I mean, at plus 120, I think Kelvin has big favorite upside. You know, if he hurts him, if he can stuff a few takedowns, he's got a lot more power than Bilal, that's for sure. And you know, at fight ready now, he looked great against Curtis. He's still slowed down in round 3, which is a concern. I think that's when, if this goes to a third and it's 1-1, I think Brady can get some takedowns going in a third. But then again, Brady, I've never been impressed with his cardio either in the third. If that fight went into round 3 against Bilal, he definitely would have been knocked out in round 3. So yeah, I didn't want to overthink it, even though I did. I took half a unit shot. I think this is a lot more likely to look like a pick and fight if it goes long. Kevin has KO upside. Brady has submission upside. But yeah, the fact that he's at fight ready, I have a feeling like his coaches got into his ear and said, "Hey, you should be a welterweight." I think he's more committed. And he's actually giving it a go. He's trying to cut down to welterweight properly. So a motivated Calvin at welterweight, you know, at plus money over a fraud. Sean Brady is a fraud, just like Sabatini. Yeah. Whatever happens, I'm happy with half a unit at plus money. What about you, mate?
Yeah, Pfeiffer's the last guy in Philly we can rely on.
He's actually not a fraud. He might be unproven, but I'm happy to say that he's not a fraud.
So this is one of my favorite bets on the card as well. And I also like Kelvin Gastelum, and I don't think it should be a pick 'em. I think Gastelum should probably be minus 150 range. And I'll tell you, I'm just going to add one thing since everything you said is pretty much in my notes. So I have a different angle on this. You're talking about him being at fight ready and being at 170. So I've listened to Santino DeFranco a bunch in the past, and I know DeFranco, he doesn't love everything about Sean Brady, but the one thing he likes is how he's easily, with some of these guys, how he can get him against the cage and get the takedowns from there, like using trips, using that, like the way he does the body lock, everything like that. Like Santino DeFranco loves the techniques he uses to get takedowns against the cage. If Santino DeFranco loves that, I'm going to guess that a lot of this camp is going to be Santino DeFranco teaching Kelvin Gastelum the one thing Brady does the best, and that's all they've been drilling him on is how to stop it. On the feet, this is one-way traffic. Guys like Jake Matthews are just landing at will on Brady. Like, not at will. I mean, he wasn't like dominating him, but really wasn't having problems landing clean on Brady. Bilal Muhammad was, I mean, everything he threw, I think his striking off, it was 98% accuracy in that fight or whatever. I just never liked Brady's striking like offense. I definitely don't like the striking defense. And I liked what I saw with Gastelum against Curtis. I just like the aggressive nature. I think Gastelum's going to knock him out. It's plus 275 in the distance. I think the KO was plus 290. So I'm just in the distance is fine. But I think this is a smash spot for Gastelum. I really like this matchup a lot for him. And I like that it's at 170. I don't do the whole I'm looking at Instagram all week thing if I can avoid it, because you know, again, old person. So it's weird. But
you just use it to look at models, right?
I just use it to look at Ian Gary's wife. That's the only thing I use. There's topical joke, but I've seen the pictures of him from like yesterday and Sunday, and like he's already in range to have a good cut. So I like seeing that. Like, it's not like we don't have to worry about him. Dude, he looks great, man. Like, I think that looks, you know, this is the guy who moved up in weight because he just wants to like eat, and he doesn't want to have to stress his body out. He looks pretty good. So, yeah. Was that the last fight? Are we done?
Nah. Oh, well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that you think that's a smash spot, but hopefully it's a good thing.
I just think stylistically it's a really, really bad matchup. And I know that Santino like knows Sean Brady's game really well. So
yeah. I will say I personally think someone like Belal was a worse matchup because Belal has the IQ, and he was like, "No, you're not taking me down." It was pressure with anticipating a takedown. I think Calvin is a little bit more. I think Calvin can get level changed under because he bounces a lot and he blitzes in. And I mean Heinisch took his back in round 3, so it's like, and he lost round 3 to Curtis as well. So that's what I mean. If he doesn't knock him out, hopefully round 1 KO for the marbles. If he doesn't knock out, I think Calvin's going to be a little bit silly in round 3. But if he gets his back taken, I don't think it's just going to be like a backpack. Hopefully it's 29-28 worst. I have in my notes here, because I'm very conservative. I rep conservatively 29-28 either way. So at plus 120, if it's going to be like that, I've got like 20 cents. So yeah, played it. Alrighty. Good luck to us both, I guess. Rob Font versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Great fight, this one. I like this fight a lot. Just from an entertainment purposes. I like Figgy moving up. I've got questions about him moving up. I thought Rob Font straight away, easy play. And I'm not a Rob Font truther. I hate that chin. I've hated him a bunch. And yeah, it's the most fragile guy in the world. I see people saying amazing chin. I don't know what they're watching. Maybe just they're going off the commentator stats. They're saying Rob Font's never been knocked out. But yeah, I just taped the last 3 of the Moreno fights. I don't need to go back. I know what Davison's about. I think his schedule is a bit overrated as well. 2 fights against the Wash Benavidez, Tim Elliott, come on, Alex Perez, come on. That's essentially his title reign. And then Moreno multiple times got shut down by Formiga easily. Then Formiga got cut. I think he's a guy, with that weight cut, you just don't know what you're going to get. When he's completely off, anyone can beat him. When he's on, he's a savage. But yeah, I taped those fights, and in every single one of those Moreno fights, he's getting hurt and dropped. And I'm like, Font's going to light this guy up. Essentially, to not waffle on because we're over an hour already, Font has better boxing, better cardio, better output. Right. Font, I think he set a record or was close to setting a record against Vera in output, and strikes landed. And the guy just loses. I bet Vera there again because it's underdog. But he's just giving up big moments. Right. And Figgy does hit hard and he can get big moments, but it's like, if you fade the big moments, if you just, cross the fingers and hope for the best that he doesn't get dropped in round 1, 2, or 3, he's going to look massive, massive favorite. He beat the piss out of Yanez. He can also knock out Figgy. Like I said, I don't think Moreno hits that hard. And he's just wobbling Figueiredo all over the place every single time he hits him. And Font's going to be more, down the pipe, 1-2. He's not going to throw those loopy Mexican hooks that Moreno does. So yeah, I think Font has got so much upside, man. So much upside. The card. He can even wrestle. He can take Figgy down. I see some people saying Figgy can take him down. I wanted a bit of a better line. I thought maybe this is accurate. I went on his page and Figgy's at Fight Ready too. So I had to pause a little bit. And then I see his shape and he's looking absolutely jacked, I wanted to fade him as in, he used to be a champ. Now he's moving up in weight, doesn't want to cut weight anymore, kind of like a Cooper Brunson fade. And then, yeah, he just looks in amazing shape at bantamweight, like absolutely ripped. Definitely doesn't look like he's a small bantamweight. So it's like, maybe I'll take a pause here. I look at Font and it's just like 1-2s and stuff. Like he's getting hurt by 1-2s and small like check hooks, and it's like this guy getting hurt by anything. So I was like, I'll just wait. I'm sure some people will bet Figgy and wake up, and Dan Levy's got 3 units on Figueiredo. So hopefully more money comes in on Figgy. I'll probably take Font at pick him or slight favorite because I think he's got a lot of upside. But who knows, man? Figgy at Fight Ready at bantamweight. I don't want to rush it just yet. We'll see.
So here's my question for you. If he doesn't take the short notice fight against Sanhagen, where he's just controlled on the ground, what do you think this line is? Because I feel like a lot of it is based on the fact that they assume that Figueiredo is going to be able to get takedowns here and control Font. I feel like that's part of the number.
You reckon?
I don't think it's true, but I think that's why the number is what it is.
Well, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. That's why I was considering Font at favorite, because it's just, I mean, Ricky Simon couldn't do it. I think Font
should be a way bigger favorite. And And yeah, we don't know a lot of things, but like, would you be shocked if Figueiredo came in overweight, even at 135? Because I wouldn't. Like, it would not shock me if he still missed weight, because that's just.
I would, because he looks in good shape. I mean, he's made weight down a bunch of times. If he came overweight, then it's something's wrong with the guy. Maybe he's like an injury or something.
So the one thing I like the least about him, because for me, his path here is he's not going to be able to really get in boxing range just by boxing. I think Font can jab him for 15 minutes and be happy doing it and just land volume. And he's got a really good jab. And like, it's not like a soft one. Like he's got pop on it. I think Figueiredo needs to get in the kicking range, or just stay in kicking range and try to like wear on Font. The problem is, every time I've seen him go for these calf kicks, his head is just, his body moves so awkwardly that I think Font can just lean in and like land punches every time Figueiredo is going to come in for a kick. I think this is just 15 minutes on the feet. If it's 15 minutes on the feet, I want Font all day, 10 out of 10 times. If it's kickboxing for 15 minutes, I think Font should be minus 200 here. So, and somebody in your chat, Shatime, said, is this a step down in competition for Font? I think it is. It is. So you're giving me Font at, I mean, honestly, this is recency bias just from the Sandhagen fight. It's ridiculous. So I love Font in this spot. No reason to bet him yet. Just wait it out. So I hope Figueiredo makes weight. I hope he looks good on the scales. It'll just drive the price better.
Do you reckon it's because of the Sandhagen fight? Because you can watch his Jose Aldo and his Marlon Vera fights, and you can kind of see the similar thing happening in the Figgy fight, right?
I can't really think of another reason this line would be so close.
Because
unless they're just valuing Moreno as like, because Moreno was a champion and those are championship fights. So I don't know. It's apples and oranges to me to compare Moreno and Font. But
I'm more comparing like the big moments that Aldo and Vera got in their fight. Because you can get big moments. If you look at that round 3 against the one fight where he looked the best against Moreno, obviously when he went to fight ready and he won that 5-round decision, which was super slim margins. Round 3, he got hurt 3 times by Moreno. Like wobbled. Didn't drop, but just like wobbled. And Moreno kept pointing at him. And then the round's about to end. And Figgy lands a big overhand right that drops Moreno, who has an elite chin. He drops him, face plants him, and he steals the round and he wins a 48-47. And it's like, that's a Font fight in a nutshell, right? Font's just going to be jabbing him up, hurting him, stumbling him, and, lands one of those overhand rights over the jab. That's a big moment, and then Font just loses. It's just like how Font's fights have been going. But if you can just fade that and just hope that, Figgy doesn't get any big moments, maybe up at, bantamweight, he's not going to hit as hard. He's hitting all these flyweights and crap, maybe. And, Font's gone from getting hit by Vera. I think Vera is one of the hardest hitters at bantamweight, honestly. Going from Vera and Jose Aldo to Figgy, surely that's a step down in power punching as well.
And Font does have some leg kicks himself too, but I don't think he's going to use them here. I mean, against Vera and against Aldo, he threw I think it was 25 or some leg kicks. Typically he doesn't, but I imagine he is going to try to not get into a kicking game with Figueiredo here.
If anyone's going to get leg kicked, it would be Font. He always gets leg kicked because he's got that wide.
He should not want to throw them here.
He's got that wide boxing stance. So yeah, that's why I didn't want to play. There's a lot of things that, as a favorite, there's a lot of things the Figgy can exploit, but it's kind of just like a fade on a 35-year-old Figgy moving up. All right, let's move on. Co-main event, another good fight. This is great. This feels like a pay-per-view fight, card. Like Bobby Green and Jalen Turner, 2 ranked guys. I don't have much to add. I didn't play anything. I think Bobby, it's another. I want to add, it's another under 1.5 that I'm considering a plus money. Right? If you favor Jalen Turner, and I see a lot of people on Twitter do. By the way, I think Dariush better left because you didn't want to unblock him, or maybe he just came in just to say that. Yeah, if you favor Jalen Turner, which a lot of people do, he's worse than minus 200. Then he's under 1.5, kind of goes hand in hand, because the dude is he made Jamey-Lyn cry when he knocked him out, screaming, crying in the octagon. The guy hits extremely hard and he's got a submission offense game. Most of his fights are under 1.5. Brad Riddell, Jamey-Lyn, Medic, good dudes. some bums on there as well. Obviously, Gamrot and Dan Hooker, who Homer Simpsoned him and was extremely durable in that fight. But yeah, I've got some questions about his weight cut. I was actually had heaps of, I had 2,000 on him against Hooker. I was in Europe and I just watched it for the first time. It was a little bit annoying how we got Homer Simpson there. And, I know Bobby Green is very durable, but you look at him, man, if he gets hit behind the ear, he gets knocked out, right? Lando Venata hit him behind the ear, and if he picked his shots better, he would have knocked him out. Obviously, Dustin Poirier knocked him out, hit him behind the ear. And obviously, Ferguson dropped him. And then, obviously, the only guy that knocked him out, not by hitting him behind the ear, was Dober. And was clean on the chin, and yeah, he was out. So I think both guys have good boxing. They don't load up. And they just have pistons of right hands. So they have that going for them. But I think it's going to be tough for Bobby Green to close distance. He usually has his hands low, and he baits people in. He's going to be at a 7-reach, 6-inch reach disadvantage. I know Jalen Turner, it says, is 75.5 inches on topology, but his last UFC fight had 77. So I think 77 makes more sense, to be honest. So 6 inches of reach, and Bobby Green's going to have to close that distance. And Turner fights long, he kicks as well. So, and he's a good counter striker as well. He was getting cracked a lot by Hooker, but it's like there's a guy that can actually match his reach and height. So yeah, I mean, I was close. I was close on the under 1.5. Like I said, we're seeing Green knocked out and hurt a lot. Can Turner actually finish him? Who knows? A lot of people lean that way, but yeah, I'm passing at the moment. If you're gonna bet Green, it's gonna be a live bet. See Turner slow down like the Hooker fight. Don't rush it. No need to rush it. What is FAH saying? UFC came back with him more money. Wait, actually no. This is the one I wanted. Listen to the Jalen Turner interview a few days ago. He has no interest in this fight at all. He said no the first time they asked. Okay. UFC came back more money and promised for the next fight. He said he had to say yes at that point. He has to cut 30 pounds in 1 week. Well, that's good news. I was already passing on that from all the red flags, but yeah, maybe that's good for the under. Who knows? What do you say, Matt?
Well, I'd be surprised if they stayed at 155. I imagine at some point in the next day or two, they're going to call us a catch weight, because there's no way. I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to make it. And he didn't make weight last time either. So Turner's frame is just really tough to make 155. So I bet half a unit on Bobby Green at plus 195. And I was going to just live bet him, and I will live bet him because I don't love Turner's cardio. And I like Bobby Green's cardio. Is he hittable? Yeah. But it's pretty tough. Dude fights for your money too, man. Bobby Green is like the king of round 3. I mean, he's also the king of bad optics for the judges. I'll say that, with how many split decisions he loses. But the reason I bet him pre-fight and not just live bet him is initially I'm like, man, Jalen Turner with his length, he probably wins round 1 at a really high clip. But I don't know, man. I mean, I don't love what I'm seeing. Like, I don't know if his cardio is going to be good the whole first round. We don't know how the weight cut's going to go. I have to wait till I see the scales. I may add to Bobby Green pre-fight, depending on what he looks like. But I think that despite the, as our guy Liam would say, anthropomorphic advantages of Jalen Turner with the reach and all that, I don't know. I think that his wins are they're not aging great. And Bobby Green, at least even at 37, seems to be getting some swag to him. So I don't like the short notice nature of this. And I think the line is wide because of all those things. So I think Turner should be the favorite, but it should be a lot smaller.
Fair. Let's move on.
Plus, I just want Bobby Green to win to show stacks of cash at the press conference.
Nice. Did he do that after that last
I think he
fight?
just does it on an average Wednesday. I think that's just what he likes to do. That's an idea of fun for him.
Yeah, look, I'm happy for him. But if I have no money on it, then I'll be cheering for him too. But if I'm going the under 1.5 route, then I'll be going for Turner because I don't want to rely on Bobby to get me an under 1.5 finish. Alrighty. Main event. Great fight. Another reason why this card is so good. Finishing it off with a 5-round banger. Beneil Dariush, Arman Tsarukyan. You can take this one away, sir. Close us out.
Yeah, so I really wanted to see how I could justify a bet on Dariush here, and I can't. I think his path, Dariush's path, would be stay off his back, avoid getting kicked, and just land every punch. Because on the ground, man, I know that Dariush like has good grappling. Is he a no-gi champion? I think. I mean, the dude's got.
He was at like blue belt, purple belt, white belt.
Okay, I mean, so he's definitely got credentials, but Arman is like a bear, man. Like once he gets on top, it's not just a matter of him having top control. He's always got his arms around the waist. He controls people. Even if it's up against the cage, as soon as you try to get up, he's just pulling you back down. He's got good control. He's got good cardio. The one thing I also like about Arman is when these guys get against the cage, when he's been against the cage, when he's in striking exchanges, even getting his leg caught, he's really good at like, it's not an arm bar, but he's really good at like locking arms. It's not a typical whizzer, but it's the way he like locks an arm as people go to as he goes to the ground to never get put on his back. Like either land side to side or he gets on top. Arman's got he's got some really sneaky, good defense on the way down to turn into offense. I think that Arman's going to have better cardio here. I think that not only did I not like what I saw from Dariush last fight, he is 7 years older as well. But Arman's going to use these kicks to the body as a huge weapon and really sap Dariush's cardio. I think Arman gets him out of there late. I really do. There's a narrative piece here too where the UFC obviously doesn't love Dariush, and Arman is coming off a 5-round fight, not his last fight, but the Gamrot fight where I thought he won. I watched it back. I can make the case 3-2 Gamrot. I don't think it's like a huge robbery, but I did think that Tsarukyan won. And I think maybe he just can't take chances anymore with that. Maybe he can't let this one go to the judges. Maybe he knows that. And he's got to get a finish. The urgency was there against Silva. Silva just was super, super tough in that last fight. But I do think that as this fight goes on, Tsarukyan late round props are very live. And I think a good way to attack this bet, if you want to drive the number down, I think you do these combo plays, right? Like money line and an over.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like I think Arman and over 1.5 when that gets released. I don't think it's not gonna be a pick 'em, but you might get like -120, which I think is pretty reasonable. I'd be shocked if this fight ended in the first round. It's not going to be like the Alvarez fight where he just runs him over. At least I don't think so. But I think Arman late round props are live. I think he's probably a decent parlay piece if you play bets like that. But I don't know, man. I think this is I'm agreeing with chat. The line movement is bonkers. But I think there's no reason to bet him yet, too. I think there's going to be some buyback on Dariush. Do you think there will be at all, or because it's got to be some resistance on this price?
Well, I already know people that played Benil.
Well, they're not betting enough on him.
Well, it's Pierce, so monopoly money. But it's his favorite bet. He's got multiple units. But I also know people with multiple units on Arma and the Juice. For me personally, I get it. It's Dariush is hard to hold down, especially early, and he's a lot more dangerous on the feet. So if this was a 3-rounder, I probably would have bet Dariush already. I feel like it's going to be competitive early. I think Arman, his control, it's not bad. It's 100% better than Gamrot's, right? The guy with the worst control. It was easy to shut down Gamrot, and even though he has amazing cardio, but I don't know if he can shut down Arman as well, because Arman is kind of like he's a lot more physical. He's got a lot more aggressive wrestling rather than shooting low on singles, initiating scrambles. Arman is just going to double leg you and slam you and cage push, get a lot of top time, and Dariush is probably going to roll for legs, and Arman's just going to get out of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to lay the juice. I just don't feel it. I will just wait, see how round 1 goes, how round 2 goes, and just get on Arman live bet, hopefully at a slightly better price. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Benil wins round 1 and 2. Maybe he looks really good. Benil is constantly underrated. But he has issues with the chin. He has issues with the chin and the cardio. He just gets a little bit sloppy.
The cardio was bad last fight against Oliver. He looked tired in like 2-3 minutes in that fight.
He always looks tired. He always breathes out of his mouth, but he pushes through. But it's like, I don't think you'll be too much of a problem here because, Oliveira is a different beast when he gets up and you're tired. He's going to knock you out. Whereas Armin's just going to dive on the legs again. It's one of those ones like I think Dariush will do good in a high-paced grappling fight as opposed to just, someone like Oliveira with crazy power trying to kill him. But yeah. I got nothing on here. Maybe overs.
When that Armin and over 1.5 comes out, I'll let you know. Like I honestly think if we get close to even money, I think that's maybe the best pre-fight angle to attack.
I don't know if we'll get plus money, but
for Armin and over 1.5.
Yeah, over 1.5 is going to be juiced. I've got 1.5 right now on Bet365.
No, the Armin and I know, but like the combo play, like they usually
it's $1.28 for the 1.5. So that makes it $60.75, something like that.
All right, so that stinks.
It's the same price as the over 3.5.
Yeah. All right.
Which I'm kind of liking. I'm liking the over 3.5.
All right.
But it's like, everyone's like, oh, it gets finished in the late rounds. It's finished in the late rounds. And it's like, maybe I'm missing something. I
think it's predicated on the body work Tsarukyan does early in this fight. That I really think that's what makes the late finish appealing.
I don't think his body work that great. He just has slapping kicks to the body, Like he's got a lot of slaps.
He's got a lot of time to work. So if he lands a couple of them, he may sap Dariush's strength. Like again, that's the angle I'm approaching on it. I'm not saying it's a lock. I'm not saying that's how it goes. I'm saying if there is a late finish, that would probably be how it has to happen. He's definitely not. He's not one punching. It would be attritional.
Oh, look at that! That's literally exactly what I said it would be. Yeah, same. That's exact same as the over 3.5. Might as well just play over 3.5, and you don't pick a winner.
Yeah.
But look at that. That's Armin's record in the UFC. Just decision machine. Other than Giagos, I actually played the over there. That's so annoying, the way he knocked out Giagos, which I think Dariush has a worse chin than Giagos. Let's be honest.
I mean, the Alvarez fight was just like a murder, though.
Yeah, but that's like a guard player. Like, if you're gonna be on your bottom against Armin, looking for submissions that are not going to be there, he's just going to give him space to throw elbows. Dariush is going to go for the legs, so he can't throw ground and pound because he has to like make sure he gets out of leg entanglements. Who knows? It's possible, but yeah, Ismagulov was never close. I don't think he's going to get Dariush's back like he kept backpacking Ismagulov. And Silva, man, this is why I don't hit openers. I hit this under 1.5 at plus money because I know Silva's extremely chinny, kind of like Dariush. And he just took him down and he just laid on him for the whole round. There's like no finishing upside. He just lays on you.
He didn't take him seriously.
And then he did because he took him down straight away. If he didn't take him seriously, he would have like tested out his striking and stuff. And then round 2, Silva gets up multiple times and then hurts him. And then again, he gets taken down with ease and then he just sits in his guard. And then round 3, I also had heaps of money on doesn't go to the decision. And I was sweating. I was going to be like destroyed. I was going to be $4,000 down. And then thank God he gets that takedown KO with 2 minutes to go. And I was like, man, how much did it take you to knock out this unranked guy with no chin? So, you know what? I might play the over 3.5. I might just play the over 2.5 juice.
You know what's so funny is there's so many people that I know that had, like, if you're going to do an alt under, like they did the alt under 2.5. And it's like, okay.
Right.
No, you said you did fight doesn't go.
I did everything. I was chasing on that fight. I was chasing
like to me, there's no if you're gonna do an alt total, you may as well just do fight doesn't go the distance at that point. Like, because if you did only under 2.5, you lost by a minute. So I'm glad you got there.
Well, I'm glad I didn't lose all of them, but I lost the under 1.5 plus money, which I locked it in like, oh, this is gonna bet online.
Yeah, but I think you make that bet all the time in that fight. I think in that spot, like I think this was the outlier situation.
No, I think he was lucky. He was lucky to a knockout, Giagos. I'll address this Chad Cooper. KO'd Alvarez with punches. Like I already addressed that. It's ground and pound on the dude that pulls guard. What's this? KO'd his last fighter with punches. Come on, bro. It was a slam. Giagos already said I was lucky. Clipped him and then just ground and pounded him.
I mean, Giagos is chinny. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Benil disrespect. I mean, you can only watch so many fights in these. Favol is chinny too, right? Benil disrespected because the shooter block striking over the KO finish. Like, he was definitely KO'd. He's chinny. There's no. This dude was knocked out by Alexander Hernandez. Armin is going to put on the show that is really going to impress people. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Armin at best is this win and another win away from a title shot. I don't think this, unless he gets like the most incredible, amazing result here. I don't know how he's next.
The best people Armin has fought were Mateus Gamrot and, whatever. You can say that the first 3 rounds were his, but they were extremely close. And then he lost. And then Damir Magulov, who we see Dawson actually run through him much more impressively, in my opinion. And then Jakim Silva, right?
And maybe Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone's screaming over, but it was still unanimously decisioned.
Do you think the Aubin Mercier fight has aged well, though? I mean, Aubin Mercier, I realize he's beating up the PFL, but
yeah, he was, but he's still 29-28 at him. He lost a round to OAM there. He's like one of these blanket guys. So it's like, what's with this stupid ad that I have on my screen? Help Ukrainians. Oh man, it's so funny. I was just making fun of it. And
who would you want Serbia to go to war with?
No one, dude. We don't go to war. We just get bombed.
Yeah,
we got bombed when I was 7 years old and can't really retaliate against America.
I think we should all move to San Marino and then play for their soccer team.
Yeah, well, I could probably make it, to be honest.
I could be the goalie. Like, if we have legs, if you have legs, you have a shot to like make that team.
Probably. All right. So think of your best bets, your 2 best bets, your locks, 1 and 2.
I already know them.
And I don't do this, but I'll do this because someone always asks me questions and I turn off the thing. If anyone wants to ask me and Lou some questions, chuck it in and I'll answer them before we go. And I'll look at my final bets. Obviously, I only have 1 bet at the moment, Kevin Gastelum. So I kind of have to give that out. And it's obviously going to line up with Lou. Traditionally, Lou, I know you listen, but you don't come on often. If me and my guest have the same best bet, it hits. So I think one of them has to be Kevin Gastelum, right?
That is one of them.
And you're a lot more confident than I am. So we'll ride with that. And for me, it's Wednesday. I've done this extremely early. And there's a lot of things that are simmering in my head, but I haven't locked anything else in.
Don't do it.
I think I'll give you your best bet that even if it loses, it's not going to hurt. I'll give you Drakkar Klose round 3. You can put $100. You can put $100 on that, and you can make 1 Steve unit. And I look like a genius if it hits.
1 Steve unit.
That's right.
Or you can bet 100 Couch Warrior units.
I'm
going with the one that you're on the fence with that I'm telling you not to be on the fence with. I'm going with the Garcia Costa under 1.5, man. I get what you're saying about Costa can get kicks and then not go for the kill, but man, just the way Garcia fights, and I like Garcia at the price. Somebody's going to die in this fight in the first round. So I really do like that as my second play. Did we lose, Steve?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My camera just stopped working, but who cares?
Just can't see you.
It's not important.
But yeah, it's plus money too. Like, I'm not making this play dude, it's crazy that we're getting plus odds for a Steve Garcia fight.
They're tempting you, bro. They're tempting you. That's why.
Well, I'm taking the bait. But I also like the Garcia side. So if I like the Garcia side,
you have to like the under.
I like the under 1.5.
I think Garcia can win a decision, mixing in some wrestling. And he beat Ronnie Lawrence in Bellator, and I've seen the highlights. He just kept dropping him multiple times.
How disgusted would he be with himself if he won a decision? Sorry, guys. It's not the fight I wanted to put on.
30 30-26. And it's like just disappointing performance by me.
Well, do you want to know what it pays?
Probably a lot.
Well, I always keep the odds up when I do shows because, believe it or not, I'm a professional.
Doesn't look like it.
6-1 plus 600. So that's not even that good, to be honest.
That's pretty trash, to be honest.
That's like horrible for a fight that's set under 1.5. I mean, they're telling you that, and then Costa decision is plus 225. So they're saying Garcia is not winning a decision here, but
they're thinking what I'm thinking, that he's just gonna stay out on the outside and kick him to the decision.
Can I steal your closer prop for the close prop for props my show?
Take it, bro.
I love it, dude. I think it's very live.
Yeah, I mean, he's a decision machine, and he couldn't even finish the gas Giagos, but it's like, you got to take a poke. It's live.
Well, actually, there's another thing too that's changed is this last year. The refs seem to be way more adamant about getting up quicker. So if Solecki's just trying to pull guard and like doing the whole like immediate lay down and like, as long as Klose is smart, he's like, dude, just get up.
He's not smart. That's the issue. He's stupid as fuck.
Right. So,
Oh well, it's worth a poke.
Yeah. And Tate Villa split decision, because if you have, we didn't break that down. If you have to bet that fight, just to the viewers, just bet the split decision.
He will get my.
It'll be plus 350 at best. I'll tell you right now, from my experience, betting split decisions and betting fights, it'll be plus 350. I'm within 10 cents of that bet. So just if you must bet that fight, bet the split decision.
Another one you can poke is Jamey Horth round 3, or Horth round 3 submission.
I mean, I wouldn't poke Jamey Horth, but that's your prerogative, sir.
Yeah, I would rather Hardy, to be honest.
Hey-o.
But, if you go on Horth's Instagram, she's trying. I'll give her that. She's got a lot of. It's a shame about the face, but she's given it her all respect. I kind of wish that Hardy did the same thing. That would be great. But
Bret Hart is the most beautiful woman ever from Canada. We all know this.
I do have Polyana Viana doing her best on her Instagram, so I can't complain. She's my type. All right. That'll do, my friend. Almost 2 hours. Didn't want to rush you. I guess I've got all day on a Wednesday. It's 10 a.m.
Yeah.
My ass is just a bit sore from all the sitting down. Thanks for joining in, man. You got anything to plug?
Prop show. You're a time traveler. It's Wednesday for you. It's Tuesday for me. Which
I'm
means
always ahead.
But it means it's Wednesday for my employer, since that's where the company's based.
Well, except it's 7 a.m. in the morning for him.
Yeah, but it's okay. Well, it's still Wednesday by my math.
It is.
I'm good at math. Prop show tomorrow. I'm just going to record it. And then Thursday, midnight Eastern time is my usual show. If you guys, you don't have to listen to me the whole show. It's a lot of what I'm just going to say here. But if you like the daily fantasy angle, my partner, Monk Maddox, awesome dude, does that. I'm just there for jokes. And that's it. Thanks for having me, dude. Overdue. I know. Like, dude, I got my shit together early in the week for you.
Oh, nice.
Love your sass. And we're going to win all the money this week.
I'm pretty serious all the time.
Always, clearly. And I think you and I are going to win all the money. And if we do, then you have to have me back by virtue of I'm a good luck charm.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Hopefully finish up December with no less than 60,000, and I can actually make the full-time thing worth it. Any less is a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. I don't want to be bloody poor.
I still think you should move to America and we can go karate on people, but that's just my perspective.
Nah, I'm not moving to America. I'm getting my Serbian citizenship so I can go to a country that's not in the UE and live.
Do they have bars in Serbia?
Do they have bars?
If they have bars, maybe I'll move there. That's
all I require. Do they have bars? What a question. You go to Serbia for women and the alcohol and the food.
And the movie is Serbian film.
That too. They got some of the best nightlife in Belgrade.
All right.
Do they have bars?
I knew they had bars, by the way.
Yeah, well, try to recover now, but it's too late. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Like and subscribe. Thanks, Lou. Peace out.
Thanks, man.